Today I asked 4 of my girlfriends if they knew what flock cameras were, and all of them said no. I think if you have a specific TikTok or Instagram or YouTube algorithm, you probably see videos of people destroying flock cameras, protesting their cities, contracts with flock, or some other form of resistance. That's the side of the internet that I'm on, but I think that everyone should know at least a couple things. So that's what this video is. I just wrote and researched this really quick, so if I'm looking at my notes, that's why. Flock Safety is a surveillance company. It markets itself as a way to deter crime, respond to emergencies, and investigate safety incidents. Unfortunately, that's not what flock cameras are actually being used for. Flock Safety's website says that the technology is trained to focus on cars in public view rather than individuals and does not capture facial data or photos of drivers. The cameras capture still images and build a profile on cars, including characteristics like license plates, dents, color, make, model, roof racks, even bumper stickers. And the images are then analyzed using an AI algorithm, which uploads the data to unencrypted national surveillance platforms and then runs the data against sometimes faulty hit lists. Then it stores the data in a way that permits access by police and law enforcement and flock users anywhere. I'm going to get into specific examples later if you're having a hard time conceptualizing this, because I think it does get a bit confusing. So flock cameras capture cars, but they also capture people, bicyclists, children, animals. Flock cameras have been seen in playgrounds, across from schools, in neighborhoods, hiking trails, pointed at people's driveways, a lot of places where there's not a lot of car traffic, and it just doesn't make sense for their proposed mission. The goal is to be able to watch you leave your house, hit a grocery store, go to a doctor's appointment, pick up your children from school, and return home. The camera can recognize your car by a specific dent, even if there's no license plate, but it can also recognize your gait, the way you walk into the doctor's office, into your home. And the question is, does that feel like a crime deterrent or safety investigation? Okay, let's talk numbers. These are from the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. Less than 1% of cars scanned by the automatic license plate readers are connected to any crime or wrongdoing. And I'm just gonna say LPRs for license plate readers from now on. The subscription model AI surveillance system can cost cities over $200,000 annually. According to research published by a security and surveillance research firm, flock LPRs misread the state on 1 out of 10 license plates. That's horrible. Okay, now try and think of a way that you want your city to spend $200,000 next year. Is it filling potholes? Providing more kids with free or reduced lunches? Is it investing in low-income housing, addressing homelessness? Is it investing in public transportation? Guess whose license plate is not being pinged off 1,000 flock cameras? It's yours when you're on the bus. It makes sense that San Francisco is cutting funding for Muni and getting rid of some lines altogether. Remember when I said that Flock doesn't use facial recognition? It's because they don't really need to. LPRs are now scanning for devices to identify you using Bluetooth or RFID, which is radio frequency identification. It means your phone, your computer, and your tablets are helping build profiles on you specifically. I personally believe that the decision to not use facial recognition was extremely calculated. I think it's a great way to build support in concerned communities while neglecting to mention that they don't even need your face to identify you, and that your face is being recorded anyway. Now, why is all of this bad? Let's get into some examples. In 2025, 83,000 cameras were used to track a woman who took pills to induce an abortion. This was reported by her boyfriend, who was later arrested on domestic violence charges. The head deputy was also arrested for sexual assault allegations that were proven in court, I'm pretty sure, just to keep that in mind with the type of people we're dealing with here. There were 2 searches through the ALPR database with the note, "Had an abortion, search for female." Texas deputies even initiated a death investigation of a non-viable fetus, logged evidence of the woman's self-managed abortion, and consulted prosecutors about possibly charging her. Flock and local law enforcement have continued to downplay this incident and hold onto the fact that charges were not pressed, but this is only because the sheriff's office was told that they could not do that. The case as a whole is disgusting. I'm gonna link an article down below, you can read it. Just this month, Flock was used by cops to track a man traveling across state lines to create probable cause and search his car for weed. Police in Wisconsin used Flock to determine that a man traveled to Michigan frequently, and weed is legal in Michigan and illegal in Wisconsin. They then used his travel as probable cause justification to search his car. He was then arrested for marijuana possession. I want to be clear, I don't think this man is a good person. He was wanted for bail jumping on domestic violence charges, and the bail jumping charge was dismissed, but we don't like violent offenders, at least I don't. I offer this example more of just like a brain exercise because you, presumably not a violent offender, may believe that weed should not be a jail sentence. I personally believe that the officers involved did not care that he was a violent offender. I believe they cared about arresting a black man for buying weed for personal use. An investigative report by 404 Media found that the police in Oregon were collaborating with federal law enforcement officials like ICE and the FBI through surveillance tools, including Flock, even though Oregon is a sanctuary state. San Francisco police allowed out-of-state police to run 1.6 million searches in a 7-month period of the city's Flock database, including some that were marked as relating to ICE. California is also a sanctuary state. An Oakland-based law firm, which is just across the bay from San Francisco if you're not familiar, filed a class action lawsuit against Flock, alleging that Flock is sharing this information on California drivers with out-of-state law enforcement and the federal government, which is illegal under California law. A Home Depot in Los Angeles was targeted by ICE for weeks because of a large population of Hispanic people looking for work in the parking lot. Guess who else was in the parking lot? Flock. There are countless examples. I think the funding and contracts shared between surveillance companies and governments is dangerous, and that cooperation can be bought from either side. Speaking of things that can be bought, it's your data. You will be targeted like never before based on your habits, the stores you go to, how long you spend in certain locations, where you exercise, who you speak to, what you buy, etc. This data is valuable. It's why focus group participants get paid $200 an hour, but this time the data is free and you don't even know when or where it's being collected. I also want to make a video on the concept of separation of church and state evolving to the separation of tech and state. I think the whole concept of these AI surveillance tools is fraudulent. I think the cameras don't deter crime any more than a broken CCTV camera does. What they actually do is build data profiles on individuals based on their routines and habits. I think having them around children, hospitals, schools, and neighborhoods is dangerous. We could talk for another 30 minutes about people wearing Meta glasses and their contribution to AI training data and the same AI surveillance platforms willingly. I recommend everyone read or reread George Orwell's 1984. The camera and listening device combined, called a telescreen in the book, allows the ruling party to monitor citizens in their homes and in public constantly, and it's starting to sound a bit familiar. I'm going to link below a website called dflock.org where you can look on a map of the US and see where Flock cameras are. I just wanted to make this video, and I mentioned that I had asked my girlfriends if they knew what Flock was because I think girls especially, because I've noticed this for myself as well, my algorithm, no matter how much I don't interact with certain videos, like beauty videos or like hauls, like just overconsumption kind of stuff, I get pushed that content all the time. It's super easy for my algorithm to like really switch into something harmless and like girly, I guess, but there's nothing wrong with that at all, other than the fact that I like to be informed, and unfortunately I get most of my news from social media, so I'd rather my algorithm be more geared toward things that are happening in my community, like data centers or buyouts or Flock cameras. So I just think it's really important for girls to have resources like available or a girl displaying them and make it palatable is what you're interacting with, but it's also what you've been kind of trained to interact with and trained to find interesting. I did make a video, but I haven't posted it, but if anyone's watching this, I made a video about like cancel culture and algorithms and like the internet and giving energy and attention to influencers and why it's like bad for your brain. And good luck. See you later.